Hey, welcome back today to Wings Eagles Ministry, where I want to share with you today something that I think you will enjoy. We're talking about one of the greatest movies ever made, one of my favorites of all time, and that is the Ten Commandments. A lot of times this time of year, in which right now, doing this video, we're nearing Easter. Some of the major networks will play it usually once or twice before Easter does actually take place. So if you see it in the upcoming days or upcoming weeks, make sure you watch it. If you've never watched it before, or even if you have, you'll enjoy watching it again. I have watched it many times. I used to own it on VHS. Now I own it on DVD. I've watched it many times, and I'll tell you what, as technology's increased, you can see a lot of these Bible movies that have been made over the last 20 or 30 years, and you see them becoming so the CGI incorporated and so on, and a lot of people will say, oh, that's so realistic. Well, this movie was made back in the 50s, okay? But I'm going to tell you what, when you think about the limited technology they had at that time, and then you see this movie, God had his hand on this movie. I know he did. It was such a powerful movie and a realistic movie, as I said, for the limited technology that they had in comparison to today's world. They did a wonderful, wonderful job. I want to share with you today, though, 3 facts about the Ten Commandments, and we're going to go through them pretty swiftly. So I want you to watch this whole video because I think you'll find it very interesting. But 3 facts that you might not know about the Ten Commandments. Number 1, the character that played Moses was Charlton Heston. Now, Charlton Heston, he's went down as one of the greater actors in history. I mean, a wonderful, wonderful actor, Charlton Heston. Well, when Demille was beginning to search for people to play the parts on this movie, he actually saw Heston drive away in a car off the studio lot, and he asked one of his people, he said, who was that individual? Well, the person looked it up on their little paper, and they said, oh, that's Charlton Heston. He just finished so-and-so movie. He said, get him. He said, I want to see him. Well, Heston went in and interviewed for the part of Moses. He didn't even actually know what part he was interviewing for or what part he was going to audition for. He was just going to take a part and be a part of the movie. But, of course, as things progressed, Demille knew who he wanted Heston to be. And it just so happens, and here's one part that I'm sharing with you that I don't think you probably know, that before the movie, and like I said, I love reading about this movie and history, and I love watching biographies on things and behind the scenes, and that's how come I've come across some of these things that I think are very interesting. But one thing that happened here with Moses was some of the people that was helping Demille put this movie together, they ran across one of the great Italian artist of all time. You've heard about him, Michelangelo, born in 1475, and he did play a part in the Ten Commandments. No, he wasn't actually in the Ten Commandments, but he did have a part in the Ten Commandments. Why? Because when they was running across or going through some of Michelangelo's works, they come across his statue of Moses. Yes, Michelangelo did a Moses, and these people ran across it. And when they came across it, and they was preparing for the Ten Commandment movie, they said, look at this. Okay, now you look at Michelangelo, or his depiction of Moses. Now I want you to look at the character of Moses in the movie. Now you tell me the same thing that they said. Wow, that looks just like Charlton Heston. Okay, now you're probably also going to be seeing here in a moment, or maybe you've seen it, a depiction of Moses looking, this is as Charlton Heston, he's looking at the figure of Michelangelo's Moses. And you can see how much they resemble. Now, that we're not talking about today's world, where a lot of times people will make a bronze figure or they'll make a statue that will relate to an individual. Okay, this was done before. So what I'm saying is, Michelangelo didn't make this for Charlton Heston. He made this, and it was 100 years later almost when they discovered Charlton Heston looked so much like this character. And they said that Charlton Heston often joked after that it was his nose that got him the part, because his nose looked so much like the character of Moses by Michelangelo. So that was a very, very I think, unknown fact that a lot of people don't realize. You look up Michelangelo, you look up his character of Moses, and compare them to Charlton Heston, and you'll see the remarkable resemblance. Now, fact number 2. A lot of times when people play little children on these movies, a lot of times, they're obviously child actors, and they don't have anything to do with anyone that was related to anyone on set. In other words, it's not a person's nephew or a person's cousin or a person's real child that plays these people. Okay, but again, the Ten Commandments was different. The Bible, Charlton Heston actually told Demille that his wife was with child, and she was expecting him pretty soon at that time. Well, Demille said, I tell you what, if you have that child around filming, then it can be in the movie. Well, it just so happened that that's the way it worked out. So when you see in the picture, now you're going to probably see a picture coming up here in a few moments, but when you see in the movie the little baby Moses put down in the water in the very first of the movie, when you see that, okay, that is Charlton Heston's real child, his 3-month-old son, Fraser. And he is the one that is put down in the water. So yes, the little baby Moses was played by Charlton Heston's very own son. Now, I will add one other funny thing that I remember coming across when I was watching one of these biographies one time. Was Heston, of course, they said at this time, while all these things was going on set, the children, if there was a young child like that, they had to have a caregiver or a someone that was over them that wasn't necessarily family related. Well, he said he had the caregiver there for the child as he was doing his parts and all this other. Well, it came time for them to put the baby into the water. Okay, so Heston went over and he said, I want to do it. And he said the woman looked up and she had the baby, little baby Moses, we'll call him. She had little baby Moses, and she tells big Moses, she said, I'm sorry, sir. She said, I'm supposed to have this baby at all times while on set. Heston said, I looked at her and he said, I got in my Moses-like voice. And I said, give me that child. And he said, she handed the little baby right to him. And then he went ahead to put little baby Moses in the basket for the water scene. So that's fact number 2. So fact number 1, don't forget this. Fact number 1, Moses, Charlton Heston, the character of Moses, resembled greatly Michelangelo's Moses from the 1400s. Okay, so that was one major thing. Okay, now, point number 3, and then of course we had the baby. Little baby Moses was actually played by Charlton Heston's real life son. Now part number 3. Later on in the movie you find Moses as he has really announced how he was leaving. He chose to leave. He was on the run, and he was then met the ladies at the well, and he ends up marrying one. And the woman that he ended up marrying in the movie was Yvonne DiCarlo, and she played Moses's wife. And she played it very powerful. Such a wonderful woman, elegant, graceful. I mean, she played a mighty role, and she played it so well all through the movie, Yvonne DiCarlo. Now, you might say, well, that name rings a bell, but I can't really place her. Have I seen her somewhere before? Yes, more than likely, most people that are watching this video, or at least most people that have watched TV over the last 60 or 70 years, know Yvonne DiCarlo. But you probably might not know her as Moses' wife. You know her by Lily Munster. Yes, a few years, about 10 years after the 10 Commandments, Moses' wife, Zephra, or Yvonne DiCarlo, took on the role of Lily Munster on the comedy show The Munsters. So a lot of times you might see people and you might think, well, they look like somebody I've seen before, but it just doesn't ring a bell. Well, you probably either have saw her as Moses' wife, or you probably saw her as Lily Munster. And chances are, if you saw both of them, you didn't put the 2 and 2 together. So these are just a few little facts that I come across that I hope you enjoy. And again, let me say, it's a wonderful time of year. It's a powerful time of year. And if you have not watched the Ten Commandments and you see it coming on one of the major networks in the upcoming days, please, one thing I'd like you to do is I'd like you to watch it and then make sure you leave a comment or something. Come back to this video and leave a comment and say, I watched that movie and I really enjoyed it. And I do want to add this also. If you've got a prayer request, you got anything you want us to pray about, we try to put our email in the description box every time. So make sure you hit us up for let us know what's going on. And we will pray with you. We don't broadcast it. We don't tell everyone, but our ministry family here will pray for you in that need. And then, of course, if there's anything else that you would like to, let us to know or do you want to share with us, feel free to email us. We would appreciate it. Be a part of this ministry. And I have had people ask, say, we'd like to donate just a little. Some said one time, they said we didn't have a lot. We just might want to donate $5. Well, that's your call. If you do, that's wonderful. We did get a Cash App for those that do want to contribute. But if you don't, just be a part of this ministry. You being a part of this ministry helps us get the word of God out, the gospel of Christ out to the world, because that today is what's going to heal, save, and deliver this world that we live in, the power of the gospel of Christ. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new here, again, hit the subscribe button right before you leave, and make sure you hit the like button, leave a comment below. We'd appreciate your help as far as just viewership and watching these videos. Don't forget, God loves you, God bless you, and catch you in the next video.